Okay, so we're going to lie on our back today. Have your belt nearby as well. So we'll just take a moment to really arrive at the class. So just lying on your back, have your legs bent with your feet flat on the floor and hip width apart. The palms of the hands facing the ceiling as you stretch your arms out to the sides and relax the backs of the arms down to the floor. See that your chin is tucked in so the back of the neck feels long, and relax your jaw, soften your tongue. And just let your eyeballs become really soft and sinking back into your head. And take a moment to focus on your breath. So you have your mouth gently closed and the flow of the breath comes in and out through your nostrils. And we have the ability to restrict the flow of the breath by contracting the back of the throat and the movement of the tongue. So just be aware of the softening of the tongue and the openness of the throat so that the breath flows through evenly in and evenly out. And just this simple act of lying down, surrendering to the force of gravity pushing us back to earth, and this focus of the breath and the open-throated breath. It quietens down all our nerves. You just feel that sort of blissful nectar enveloping you. And then keeping that sense of inward drawnness, you can take your bolster and go onto tiptoes and lift your hips up so that you're bringing the bolster onto the back of the pelvis. And then stretch your legs up, stretch the arms out to the sides. And just feel the change in the blood pressure as the vein blood from the legs comes back towards the heart. And you've got that slant of the back towards the chest. So continue with your open-throated breath. Find the balance in the legs. You can move the legs slightly forwards and backwards until you feel that the hips and the knees and the ankles are really aligned. And when you find that alignment, there's less effort in trying to keep them up. Continue with this big breath coming in, filling up the lungs, pushing out the ribs, and the breath going out and the rib cage receding back towards the spine. And then just bring your legs slightly apart and you can really flex your feet, push into your heels and draw the toes towards you. Feel all the muscles engaging up your legs, your thighs, your knees pulling in towards the bones. And then point your toes so you feel the skin stretching on the top of the foot, the ankle. And breathe big breaths into the stretch and then point and flex very slowly. And when you're in the flex or in the point, just give it a breath or two to feel the stretch. And then you can circle the toes, the feet, so you get the ankles moving and that you might hear some clicks, releasing the ankles and then circling the feet in the other way. Imagine you've got a laser beam on your big toe and you're making big circles up into the stratosphere beyond the roof of your house. And then just come back to bringing the legs together and very gradually release them down towards the floor. And just take a big breath. And let your blood come back to the level. And then go onto your tiptoes again and push your bolster down so that you can bring it to where your feet, when your knees are bent, where your feet are. And then push your feet into the bolster and start rolling your spine up towards your shoulders. And bring your hands underneath your body and just interlock your fingers and then step your shoulders towards each other. Really stretch your fingers, stretch your arms. Breathe into your belly, have your chin tucked in so you've got some weight pressing down through the base of the skull. And you feel you can breathe into the occipital ridge underneath the skull, the back of the neck, where we have lots of tension there, lots of stress. So consciously breathe into that area and exhale any stuckness away. Keep pushing through your feet, lifting through your hips. It's like spring cleaning your head. And then bring your hands out to the sides. And you can have your elbows lifted with your arms bent so you feel your shoulder blades sliding away from the back. And very, very slowly feel your spine start to release down towards the floor. And each time you feel another vertebra touch the floor, just take a breath. And feel that connectedness, especially to the part of your spine behind your heart center, where we can't really access very easily. This is where we get to meet that part of our spine. How do you do? And again, using the exhalation to breathe out any stuff that you no longer require. You don't have to hold on to anything that you don't need. And slowly, slowly rolling down towards your pelvis. And then letting everything just settle onto the floor. Stretch your legs out so the backs of the knees are supported by the bolster. Again, bring your arms out to the sides. And just take a moment to reconnect with your breath. And then take your belt in your hands and bring your bolster underneath your hips. Again, bring the bolster up so you've got the back of the pelvis supported. And you're going to take your belt and just loop it around the ball of the right foot. And then stretch your left leg out. So you've got your right leg raised, your belt is around the ball of the foot. You're holding on with two arms long, chin tucked in. And just take a moment now to breathe into this new position. And you can gradually bring your awareness to the belt, drawing the ball of the foot towards you and pushing your heel into the belt, stretching the back of the right leg. And at the same time, really extend through your left heel. So you're working the muscles of both the legs. The arms are just holding onto the belt and allowing the weight of the arms to draw the ball of the foot towards you. Chin is tucked in, the eyes are soft. The front lobes of the brain are passive. And see if you can really attain that. Let the front lobes of your brain become passive. And if you can find that, then you find your awareness expands within you. And then taking both ends of the belt in your right hand, extend your left arm out to the side. Just make a fist and stretch your fingers a couple of times so that you're releasing the tension from holding onto the belt. And then take a deep breath in, draw the right leg towards you. And as you exhale, draw the right leg slowly out to the right without disturbing the position of your left leg, your left shoulder. Everything stays put there. And it's just that rotation in the right hip. And then if you want to, you can bend your right elbow to the floor. And just holding onto the belt, feel the stretch on the inner thigh, the right leg. Keep pressing your left leg away from you and gently down towards the floor. And breathe into your belly. And then gradually over to the center again. Change hands now, so the left hand is holding on to the belt and the right arm stretches out to the side. And just making a fist and stretching the fingers of the right hand to release the tension in the knuckles, the joints of the fingers. And then take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, pushing into your right heel, just gradually draw the right leg towards the left side without rolling over on your left hip. So the tops of the thighs start to squeeze together. And when you can't go any further without rolling, just pause there. And push gradually into the heel. All the time staying connected to your breath, softening your eyeballs. And allowing your brain to be as passive as possible so that the thoughts don't get stuck. And then gradually drawing the right leg over further, keeping the right shoulder down, roll over a little bit onto the left hip. So you're coming into a twist. All the way over, keeping your right shoulder as far back as you can. Turn your head to the right. So the whole spine is twisting, the neck is twisting. And then come back to center. I'm taking the belts in two hands, two ends of the belt in two hands. Lift your head and your chest and draw your head and your chest towards your leg. Draw your leg towards your head and your chest. Feel the increased stretch at the back of the buttock. And then gently release and undo the belt. Interlock your fingers, turn the palms away and stretch your arms over your head. Stretch your legs away from you. Make the sides, the back and the front of the body long. Chin tucked in. Big belly breaths. And gently release. And then bend your knees, come onto your tiptoes. And again, roll the belt bolster away from you underneath your feet. And with your feet on the bolster, gradually pushing into the bolster, interlock your fingers the other way now, so the other index fingers leading with the hands under the body. Stretch your arms long, pushing into the bolster, lift your chest, tuck your chin in, and breathe again into your belly. Chatushtasana. Making a bridge under your body as big as you can, so the space underneath you is enlarged. Stretch your arms away from you strongly so you feel the muscles of the arms engage. And then gently release the spine down, bring the elbows out to the sides, roll the spine gradually down. And then stretch your arms out, stretch your legs out, extend your limbs away from you, and just take a moment to let everything settle. And then carefully bringing the bolster back underneath the sacrum, lift your hips, place it back on the bolster, and this time we're going to do with the left leg. So loop the belt around the ball of your left foot, and stretch it up, and stretch your right leg long, and have your arms long, one on each side of your belt, and the chin tucked in. And just take a moment here to realize the position, the shape that your body is making, and to maximize, optimize the stretches and the spaciousness within the limbs. And feel that your breath is moving into the space that you're creating in the stretch. So take your breath. It might be behind the knee, might be behind the chest, wherever you feel that you're creating space in this stretch. Breathe into it. Explore the space with your breath. And keep drawing your toes towards you, pushing into your heel, and pushing your right heel away from you, extending your right leg long so you're engaging the muscles on both your legs. And then taking the ends of the belt just in your left hand, stretch your right arm out to the side, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, draw the right leg towards you and out to the left, without disturbing the right side of the body at all, if possible. You can bend your left elbow to the floor and just take a moment to really open up the back of the left knee, drawing the toes towards you, pushing gently into the heel. So the hamstrings are really stretched. You can extend your right leg away from you. And then gradually bringing that leg slowly back to center. Change hands, so the right hand's holding the belt. Extend your left arm out to the side. Just take a moment to breathe here. Big inhalation. Open the backs of the knees. Slow exhalation. And then breathe in. And as you breathe out, draw the left leg gently towards the right without disturbing the right side. And when the tops of the thighs squeeze together and you feel that you're going to start rolling, pause there. Push into your left heel. Feel the stretch on the outer hip. See if you can keep pushing into the heel. Keep that stretch opening more and more. And now gradually allowing that leg to come all the way over, keeping your left shoulder back, rolling over the right hip. Turn your head to the left and let that foot come all the way down. So the whole spine is rotating. And just hold it here and breathe for a moment. Let the exhalation be complete. And then gradually come back to center and taking the belt in two hands now. Keeping your legs straight, draw the leg towards you, lift your head and your chest towards your leg. Feel the spine lifting off the floor as much as you can. And then gradually release, undo the belt. Interlock the fingers, turn the palms away, grip your hips and your buttocks, stretch your legs, tuck your chin in. And breathe into the armpit chest. Breathe into your rib cage expanding. And then change the interlock of the fingers, so the other index finger's leading. Deep breath in. Turn your palms away again. Stretch your arms over your head. Stretch your legs long. Grip your hips and your buttocks. And then release and take your bolster and lifting your hips off the bolster, scoot it down towards your feet. With your feet bent, your knees bent, your feet on the bolster. Pushing into the bolster, lift your hips up, walk your shoulders in towards each other, interlock your fingers, and stretch your arms long underneath your body, tuck your chin in, and really fill up your belly with your breath. And let the navel fall all the way back down to the spine with the exhalation. And again, inflate your belly as large as you can. And really push down through your feet to lift your hips, tuck your chin in, feel the stretch in the base of the skull. And then gradually let your arms come out to the sides. You can bend your elbows towards the ceiling, so the shoulder blades slide out from the back, and gradually tilting the pelvis towards you, start to roll the spine down towards the floor and take your time. Be here now with this vertebra, with this breath. And then the next. Slowly, slowly releasing your spine down to the floor. Really meeting your spine. And then gradually release, and then stretch your legs out, stretch your arms out, and just practice total surrender. Feel the gravitational pull pushing you back to earth with no resistance. Just allow gravity to push you back. And feel how your breath has to push against that force to inflate the belly, the lungs. And in order to grow, we have to push against this force on planet Earth. That we're born into it and we're not really aware of it usually. So just feel that push and surrender to that force. And then keeping that surrendered feeling, you can gently bend your legs and lift your hips. For the last time, bring the bolster underneath the pelvis. Stretch your legs up. Stretch your arms out to the sides. And just again, finding that balance. Like when you find stones on the beach and there's a point of balance where you can put each stone on the last, it won't fall off, but no one's holding it. Think about that with your bones in your legs. Find that balance where you're no longer holding on to anything and they're just poised, perfectly poised. And feel the blood pressure in your head starts to slowly increase, and breathe into your open-throated breath. And observe the sensations from within. And then gently bend your knees and just let your feet come down to the floor. Pushing your toes into the floor, lift your hips off the bolster and slide it out from underneath you. And then just bring your knees bent, your hands to your kneecaps, and just gently rock them side to side. Gently rolling from hip to massage the lower back. And then you can roll onto your side and come up onto all fours. With your palms underneath your shoulders, your feet, your knees underneath your hips, your feet pointed out behind you. Just look at your index fingers. Make sure your index fingers are pointing forwards and the other fingers are spaced evenly, fingers and thumbs spaced. And then take a moment before we do anything to just push into the heel of the hand and bring your inner elbows to face the front. And then pushing all the joints of the fingers, the pads of the fingers into the floor. Feel how that energizes all the muscles in the arms. And then inhale, dip the lumbar and look up. So the sit bones come towards the ceiling. The chin is lifting, roll the shoulders back, take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, curl the tailbone in, pushing into the floor. Let the crown of the head drop so the neck is long. And feel the stretch over the back of the shoulders. And then inhale, dip the lumbar. Curl the tailbone towards the sky. Lift your chin. And then on the exhale, pushing into the floor. Arch your spine, drop your head down. And pause at the end of each breath and really take the time to feel the stretch in the spine. We're opening the front and then the back of the spine with each breath. This is called the cat and the cow. Don't be in any rush at all. Take a nice big breath, nice big movement. Get as much movement into your spine and then hold it. And feel the spaciousness between the breaths, between the bones. And then come back to center, curl your toes under and push back into your downward facing dog pose. Extend your heels back at the chest. Come towards the thighs. And then come down again onto all fours. And we're going to do the king pigeon pose. So step your right knee to the outer edge of the mat, just behind the right wrist. And then swivel your foot around towards the left wrist and slide the left leg back. Curl the back toes under so that the left knee is lifted off the floor. Roll the shoulders back, puff out your chest. And we're going to do 3 lion breaths. And when you do a lion breath, you take a big breath in and you're going to exhale the air audibly. And at the same time, stick your tongue right down to your chin and roll your eyeballs up and open your mouth as wide as you can, like a lion. So we'll do 3 of those. And then drop your back knee, point your toes, slowly come down onto your elbows. And roll your right hip towards the floor. Make sure the weight doesn't slump over to the left. And you can bring your forehead to rest on your thumbs, or you can bring your forehead to rest on your hands, or you can bring your forehead to rest on the floor, wherever it's comfortable. And you can keep your elbows bent, or you can stretch your arms out. But take a moment to really feel how much we're holding onto our leg. Not just the body's mechanism of keeping your leg attached, but we've got this clenching that we do when we go into a position like this, because we're worried that we're going to have an injury, so we tighten ourselves up, even subconsciously. So just take a moment to really fully become aware of the attachments to your leg. And have a sense of consciously softening all the ligaments, all the attachments. And just allowing the weight of the body and the breath to open up this joint. It's the biggest joint, the big ball and socket of the femur bone and the pelvic socket. And when this tightens up, we get all sorts of pain and stuckness, and it inhibits our movement. So it's very important to keep this joint healthy and supple. And this is what we're doing here. Breathe into it and just allow the weight of the body to sink into that hip. And then gently ease yourself out and come up into your downward facing dog. Place your hands, curl the toes under, and just push back into your downward facing dog pose and extend the heels back. See if you can roll onto the ball of the foot, lift the pads of the toes off the floor. So you're really engaging the muscles of the legs. And you can just shake out the head. Feel all the crunchy neck tightness releasing. And then come back down onto all fours. We're going to do the other side. I'm going to spin round so you can see better, and bring your left knee to the outer edge of the mat, just behind your left wrist, and swivel the foot round towards the right, and then slide the right leg back and curl the toes under and press to lift that knee off the floor. Look straight ahead, really push into your toes, lift the knee as high as you can so that the leg is straight and you're really engaging your thigh muscles. And we're going to do 3 lion breaths again, so take a deep breath in. And then carefully drop your knee, point your toes, and release down onto your elbows. And you can bring the forehead down to rest, either on the pads of the thumbs, or on the backs of the hands, or on the floor, or wherever you feel comfortable. But make sure you keep rolling the left hip towards the floor. Make sure the weight stays through the left side of the body. And just take a moment to become conscious of this attachment that we have to the leg. It's a healthy attachment, but for these few moments in our life, we're going to try and counter it. Go into that hip joint, journey inside your hip. And feel where you're holding on. Even when you think you've released, there's usually more layers that you can let go of. And breathe your life force, your prana. Think about the oxygen coming into your blood cells and your heart pumping the blood around to all the different organs. And the life force moving through you, every single breath, every heartbeat. And then gradually bringing yourself out of that pose, placing your hands shoulder width apart, curl the toes under, feet hip width apart. Lift your hips and push back through your heels. Hit your shin bones back. Open the backs of the knees. Feel the whole spine lengthening. And just let the weight of the head draw the neck down. Take a nice big breath into the whole dog pose, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then slowly look up, walk your feet towards your hands and just come into a forward bend with your knees bent. And let yourself hang down with your thighs resting, your thighs supporting your torso resting on your thighs. And then take your hands and clasp each alternate opposite elbow. So the weight of the arms is drawing your torso down. And relax your jaw, let the crown of the head release down and feel the stretch across the back. And rock your weight over your heels. And then gradually pressing onto your thighs. Bring your back up, come for standing. You just take a moment to stand in Tadasana. Have your feet together, your inner ankles, your inner toes touching. And look down at your feet. You can lift your toes up and splay them out and then place the little toe down first and then all the way along to the big toes. And then one at a time, lift your heel and stretch your foot back. Place your heel down on each side so the whole sole of the foot is expanding. And then pushing down through your feet, draw the earth energy up through the bones in your body. Like we talked about the balancing bones on the beach. Think about this in our skeleton, the stones on the beach and the bones in our body. And find your perfect balance. Lift your chest, relax your arms, And draw the crown of the head up, and you can tilt the head slightly forwards and backwards until you find that point of balance where your skull, the bony structure of your skull, sits on top of your spinal column and becomes weightless. You can keep your eyes open. Be aware of your peripheral vision. Be aware of the tip of your nose. And also have a sense of the inner world. Having your awareness drawn in even as the eyes are open. Shambhavi Mudra. And then bring your fingers to your chest, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, step or jump your feet wide. Have your hands on your hips, and then turn your heels out and your toes slightly in like a pigeon. And pressing your thumbs into the back of the waist. Inhale, press your pelvis a little bit forward and lift your chest, drop your head back, grip your knees. And as you exhale, hinging at the hips, come into a forward bend, place your fingers on the floor under your shoulders and look up. And just take a breath here and feel the openness of the backs of the legs and the length of the spine through the crown of the head and back towards the sit bones. And then take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, walk your hands in line with your feet and let the crown of the head come down towards the floor, Prasarita Padottanasana. And have your fingertips pressing into the floor so that your shoulders are kind of lifting away from your ears and there's a sense of lengthening the neck. Keep gripping your knees and your thighs. And then gently look up, walk your hands forward, bend your knees and walk your feet together. And gradually roll up to standing. Just take a moment to stand in place. And then we're going to do our shoulder stand. So you can make your platform or you can go into your upside down position on the floor or just placing your lying on your back with your legs on the chair, whatever you're going to do today. But you want to have, if you're doing that, have the bolster under the hips. You want to have the blood coming towards your head and everything lifted up. Sarvangasana. So if you're on your platform, you make sure you've got space when you come up so your shoulders stay on the platform and your head is off. Then you lift yourself up into your Sarvangasana shoulder stand, bringing your hands to your back with your elbows bent, lifting your hips. And let the tip of the tongue press towards the roof of the mouth behind the front two teeth so that you've got spaciousness in the throat for the breath to flow. And just take a moment to become used to the blood pressure in the head increasing. And think about all your organs tipping up and bringing new vitality into any sluggishness in your organs. And Sarvangasana, I'm going to tell you, I like telling you, I've told you lots of times, but Mr. Iyengar says that just as a mother strives for harmony in the home, Sarvangasana strives for harmony in the systems of the human body. And when you have an inversion, then you're benefiting your digestive system, your sleep, your mood, your immune system. So this is like a tonic for your whole body to go upside down. It's very important. And we're going to stay another minute or two. We'll just go into silence so you can enjoy the sensations and just breathe full breaths, prana and vitality into your system with the intention of healing anything that needs healing. Healing breath. And keep making the effort to lift. Finding that balance in your bones. Keep lifting your pelvis towards you. Keep pressing your thighs away from you. And you don't need to wait to come to yoga to do this. You can practice Sarvangasana every day, even in between the classes. You can build it up to 15 minutes a day if you like. Slowly building up the time that you remain inverted. It's very, very beneficial. And then you can think about now rolling down gradually, allowing the spine to release down. We'll put everything to one side. And we'll do our character pose, which is the fish. So lying on the backs of your hands, palms flat on the floor under your buttocks. And stretch your legs long, and then pressing your elbows into the floor, lift your chest and drop your head back down. And really flatten the shoulder blades in at the back. Slide the shoulders away from each other so you're opening the front of the chest. And breathe big breaths so you feel the lungs really expand. Ironing out any creases in your lungs with your breath. And you can hook your lower jaw of your upper jaw so all the energy channels, all the nadis in your throat stretch and open. And breathe big. And then you can slowly release yourself down. Just hug your knees towards you and gently rock from side to side for a moment. Come back to stillness. And we'll get ready for our Shavasana, our final resting pose. So lying on your back, you can make yourself warm if you want to put on any layers, if you want to use an eye mask. And if you want to as well, you can use the bolster underneath the backs of the knees, which is very relaxing for the legs and the lower back. So just lie back. And you can just shuffle around a little bit on your hips until you feel really nice and centered, and then just let everything relax. Bring the arms out to the sides and the palms facing the ceiling. Release all the muscles along the arms, the fingers, the wrists, everything relaxed. Let your fingers just naturally curl up and the back of the hand rest against the floor. And have a sense of openness across your chest. See that your chin is tucked in so the back of the neck feels long. And release the jaw, soften the tongue. So there's no clenching in the teeth. Let the eyeballs become soft and sinking back into the head. And the front lobes of the brain softening and becoming passive. So your awareness recedes towards your back brain, the non-judgmental part of your brain, where everything just is as it is in this particular moment. And follow your breath. Guru Mai says, just as you create a very strong box to hold something precious, delicate, and rare, in the same way you naturally want to create the perfect conditions within yourself for this sublime energy. You want to help it unfold and expand. So as your destiny is affected by the inner fire, the awakened energy, you are drawn to contemplation. You make an effort to see through the effects to the causes. You contemplate. Why did you do what you did? What impelled you to go in a certain direction? How can you shed the costly illusions that set you on the wrong path? Why is your mind still attracted to the same old patterns? Why can't your heart hold the knowledge of God? When you contemplate these things, it fans the fire within. It makes you want to do something about them, to change your way of being and thinking. Through this contemplation, you stop blaming the world, blaming God.
All you want now is to drink God's grace, to keep your heart open to receive his grace. Just as you create a very strong box to hold something precious, delicate, and rare, in the same way you naturally want to create the perfect conditions within yourself for this sublime energy. You want to help it unfold and expand, so as your destiny is affected by the inner fire, the awakened energy, you are drawn to contemplation. You make an effort to see through the effects to the causes. You contemplate, why did you do what you did? What impelled you to go in a certain direction? How can you shed the costly illusions that set you on the wrong path? Why is your mind still attracted to the same old patterns? Why can't your heart hold the knowledge of God? When you contemplate these things, it fans the fire within. It makes you want to do something about them, to change your way of being and thinking. Through this contemplation, you stop blaming the world, blaming God. All you want now is to drink God's grace, to keep your heart open to receive his grace. And then you can very gently bend your knees up to your chest and carefully roll over onto your right side. Rest the right side of your head down for a moment. And then from there, pushing yourself up, bring yourself into a sitting cross-legs position, drawing the flesh back from the sit bones. Fingers and thumbs in chin mudra resting on your knees. And just close your eyes for a moment and be here now. And then we'll join the palms together in a prayer, lifting your breastbone towards your thumbs and resting your thumbs on your breastbone. And placing the pads of the fingers against each other gently. And we're going to chant 3 Om sounds, feeling the vibration of the Om reverberating through the connectedness of our bones. So take a deep inhalation. Om. 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Om, peace, peace, peace. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bow to your heart. Honor the light of consciousness that dwells within your heart. And then gently raise your head, open your eyes. Namaste, thank you.